the Cinema Shogun here, and I have always been someone that is really intrigued and interested in the unknown, the unexplained, the supernatural. And often I like having conversations with people about this topic because everyone has that one story. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter who you're talking to. Everyone has that one wild story about something they saw or something that happened to them that they simply cannot explain. Now, years back, I used to work with a lot of these Mexican dudes, and we would talk about supernatural stuff pretty often. And they would always tell me these crazy stories about this mysterious creature that they called the chupacabra. And man, oh man, these stories would be wild. I remember one guy telling me that basically him and his whole family's livelihood was taken away from them overnight. Everything they basically had was taken away from them overnight because all of their livestock, which they relied on to make a living and survive, they wake up one day and all of their livestock is dead. But not just dead, they had had the blood literally drained out of them. And their carcasses just look weird. It looked like something happened to them, but not your average predator. These goats would be like sucked dry of their blood, but it wouldn't look as if something was feasting on them per se. But everyone that I talked to, all of those guys, they all had these stories about the chupacabra. And, you know, I would look into it, and I had heard about the creature years and years before, but I had never heard so many first-hand accounts of people who said that they had run-ins with this creature, or whose livestock and farms and their families were affected by this supposed creature. Now, do I believe that the chupacabra is real? I don't know. I'm always someone that's really open-minded about things, and I believe that there are so many things on this world, and so many things that maybe are from other worlds that travel here that we can't necessarily explain. Is the chupacabra real? I don't know. But these stories about people finding these livestock and their goats and their cows sucked dry of blood, that is real. You can look it up. There are accounts all over, especially South America, about situations like this. And it reminds me of what happens here in North America. You know, a lot of farms here in America, a lot of farmers and people who have livestock, they complain about weird things happening to their cows. A lot of people think that maybe aliens abduct cows and perform experiments on them. But there are so many different stories and accounts of farmers in America going on their farm and seeing that something wild happened to their cows or their livestock, something that can't necessarily be explained away. And these animals would have these injuries that very clearly aren't caused by a predator. If a bobcat, mountain lion, if one of these type of animals get a hold of a goat or a cow, you're going to know. You're going to see the bites, the claw marks. You'll probably see that they have wounds with flesh missing where their carcasses, their bodies were feasted upon. Yet in so many situations here in America with these cows, it's like no one can explain what has happened to them. And what is happening to these cows in America, it basically lines up exactly with this chupacabra story down here in South America that's really popular in South America. South of the border, if you will. So it's always been something really intriguing to me because one thing I pick up on is looking at people and their reactions and looking in their eyes when they tell a story. And I will never forget the feeling that I got inside when that one dude told me about how his life just came crashing down one morning when he walked outside and realized that all of his goats, all of his sheep, everything that he had worked so hard for in life was just gone overnight. And no one could explain why. And all of these animals had these weird injuries, and the look on his face was one of like pure horror. And it's weird because you could bring up the chupacabra and you could see like the look change in their eyes and their faces. At the very least, these weren't people who were telling me stories about the chupacabra just for fun and excitement. It almost seemed like it was painful to them. And even if the chupacabra wasn't real, it was clear to me that they believed it was. They damn sure believed it was. Well, I want to talk to you all about a weird story that has actually made the mainstream news today. A story about a creature that was spotted, and about these goats who have these weird injuries. And some people seem to believe that they have captured the chupacabra on video. I want to go ahead and dive right into this article, but before I do so, make sure you hit that like button. We got to get the likes up on these videos. It's free. You're here. You enjoy the videos. Thousands of you watch these videos every day. Simply go hit that like button. I don't ask you all for much. I don't ask for a lot of money and super chats. Hit that like button. It's totally free. It helps my channel. Let's go ahead and dive into this article. A mysterious creature has been sighted in Bolivia amid reports of dead livestock with their blood allegedly sucked dry, sparking fears that a mythical demon is rampaging through the region. Video of the alleged mythological menace is currently blowing up online. In the chilling drone footage snapped near the city of Aru, a shadowy, seemingly bipedal figure can be seen strolling through an open field in a scene straight out of M. Night Shyamalan's sci-fi thriller, Signs. The mysterious sighting coincides with the deaths of several cows, llamas, and alpacas in the area. Their peculiar neck wounds lead locals to believe that they've been killed by a chupacabra, a vampiric demon from Latin American lore that imbibes the blood of livestock, hence its name, the goat sucker. According to the cryptozoological canon, this mythical plasma pilferer boasts red eyes and stands upright like a large reptilian kangaroo. Initially reported in Puerto Rico in 1995, following a spat of livestock deaths, chupacabra sightings have since been reported everywhere, from Chile to a golf course in South Carolina, although none of these sightings have been substantiated. Nonetheless, this latest alleged attack prompted local farmers to erect fences around their livestock to protect them from the supposed blood-sucking demon. It's yet unclear if authorities are investigating claims that the chupacabra drank the animal's blood. This follows a similar alleged incident last month in which the chupacabra was blamed for the death of a white ram near Cancun, Mexico. The unfortunate ungulate had been found lying on the ground on a rock with no eyes and wounds on its mouth and neck, the telltale signs of a chupacabra attack, according to the locals. Needless to say, the discovery got imaginations running wild on social media. It reminds me of a documentary about the explorers who disappeared, and when they were found, they were missing their eyes and their tongue, said one commenter. Another remarked, in my village, we've been told for years that it is a night bird that feeds on the brain mass of animals. In my village, we know it as the Zanook. However, others threw cold water on the chupacabra theory, with one deducing that the ram's wounds were inflicted by a wild animal. Jaguars usually eat the soft parts, the eyes and the tongue, or jaguarundis, declared the realist. It may have been that animal or another one acting similar. In a similar alleged sighting closer to home, a strange unidentified creature was photographed prowling a Texas zoo, prompting speculations that the chupa had traveled north of the border. Okay, here's my thing. When it comes to all of these chupacabra stories, is that they're all like, the explanations are all so far away from each other. We have some people who believe that this demonic creature is feasting on the blood and the plasma of these animals at night. And then other people say, no, this is just wild animal attacks. This is a jaguar. This is a mountain lion that did this. Now, I am not here to tell you that chupacabras are real. I'm sure most of you all don't believe in the chupacabra. But I am also here to tell you that the other explanations that are given aren't valid and they aren't real either. As far as we know, there are no predators out here in these areas that can simply attack these livestock and drain them of all of their blood. And I want you to visualize it. You go outside, you had this perfectly healthy cow. You go outside the next day, it's laying on the ground dead, its eyeballs are missing, there are these little puncture wounds, there's no blood around the area. More often than not, there's not like caked up blood on these animals' fur or on their bodies. More often than not, there's not scratch marks, bite marks. There's no signs of real struggle. Just fallen animals who have seemingly had the blood sucked out of their bodies. I mean, they literally look like shriveled up carcasses that have had the life sucked out of them. Meanwhile, usually in these incidents, there's no evidence that animals have feasted upon these bodies. So what is really happening here? You know, I'll be fair and I'll say, okay, maybe the chupacabra isn't real. I understand that it's a stretch wanting people to believe in the chupacabra, but it's just as much of a stretch wanting people to believe that all of these animals, these livestock, are just having their eyeballs ripped out and the blood sucked out of them. So what's the real explanation as to what is happening? We may never know. But at this point, there's no denying this has been going on for years. The tale of the chupacabra has been going on for well before I was born, most likely before you all were born. It's going to be going on for years after we're gone. But I would really like to know what is actually happening to these animals. It's a phenomenon that happens all over the world. Sure, down in South America, they've created this mythical creature who they blame all of these weird, occurrences on. South America, they've deemed it the chupacabra. Up here in North America, we kind of seem to believe that maybe aliens are taking these animals and doing tests on them and probing them or whatever. In other various countries, they have different creatures, different mythical creatures, or different names for the chupacabra. But this is something that happens all over the world. And even though it's been documented, you can go look it up, ladies and gentlemen. You can go do research all day long. There are so many documented occurrences of similar situations like this happening all over the world. It's been documented for decades. Yet no one has a valid answer. It's either A, this is happening because of this creature, the chupacabra, or B, oh, this is just a wild animal attack. And we know it's not just a wild animal attack. We know that. Now, I'm not saying it's the chupacabra, but it's something. It's something really wild, something really weird, and something unexplained that is still happening in today's world. And you would think that tales of the chupacabra, that would be a thing of the past. Because we're living in 2023. There's cameras everywhere. You would think by now we would have explanations as to what is happening to these animals all around the world. But as far as I know, there is no official scientific explanation for what is happening to these animals. So, I ask you all, what do you think? Do you believe in the chupacabra? Do you think it's aliens? Do you think that there's some type of predator animal on this earth that is capable of sucking think of a cow and how much that weighs, how much blood would be in a cow. Do you think there's a creature capable of sucking the blood out of a whole farm's worth of cows overnight? Eyeballs removed almost surgically? Really weird, y'all. Really weird, but there's a lot of unexplained things going on in our world. And hopefully we can figure out a way to explain them. But as of right now, the chupacabra looks like one of the best explanations that I can find. Let me know your thoughts, though, down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. And I'll talk to you all in the next video.